Hello, everybody, and good morning to you. I'm trying to get the laptop as close as I can. I have a sleeping cat in front of me. But this is video 646. It is February 17th. I just had my upper lip done at the electrolysis person, and it hurt like a mofo. So, but I had a friend who posted on their Facebook page not that long ago about being beautiful, and they were asking about, when in their transition will they pass? Are they passing? And to be beautiful. And I think, and they're in their mid 30s, so very young in my opinion. They look like they're in their 20s. I'll put it to you that way. Very young looking, and obviously their hormones are going to have more of an effect than I think a middle-aged person. So I guess it all depends on how you define middle age. I tend to define middle age as mid 40s and above, and probably 40s and above. Used to be kind of, over the hill at 40. Nowadays, not so much. I think the average age is people are living longer and longer. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit because driving home from my electrolysis session, I had some thoughts about passing and beauty. And, while I was there at the electrolysis office, when I got there, there was a woman that was leaving who I think was a cisgendered woman. And that's an assumption on my part. I'll take the blame for that. And then when I was leaving, there was a guy that was waiting, and didn't strike me as being trans. And again, I'll take the blame for an assumption when you assume on that. But spas, hair salons, centers, electrolysis, etc., they make their money off of our own sense of vanity and what we want to achieve. That's not necessarily medically necessary. It's not medically necessary to remove the hair that I think the majority, and I'll take the hit for making an assumption, but I'd say the majority of the people that provide money to the electrolysis industry, it's all aesthetics. I don't like having a hair here, so I'm going to get electrolysis done for a cis woman, for a cisgendered woman. The bikini line, instead of waxing and everything else, it's all beauty. It's all, I'm going to say vanity, but it's all our sense of self. And so I'm not sure where I'm driving with this point. Boy, if I wrote things down, it'd be a whole other channel, wouldn't it? But the idea, these are the things that we choose to do to ourselves, and obviously for trans women, it's a little bit different. It's different. It's we can't. I can't imagine trying to be full time and having a beard. I can't imagine it now. I did not fully complete, and that's another myth, I think, electrolysis. But you can get the majority of the work done. I still transitioned and to full time before getting done of all my beard hair. So I guess I kind of know a little bit about it. Still having to shave every morning. I'm at the point now where I don't necessarily have to do that. It's probably, every 4 days I need to shave if I want to look clear. My hair just takes that long to grow now. It's been zapped by a laser as well as electrolysis. But back to the idea of what I was driving at for, the question of beauty and passing. First of all, I want to dissect the word passing. I really, 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 really don't like that word. And I've never really explained why, but this morning as I was driving, I kind of thought about it, and I'd like to present my case against the word passing. If you're a trans woman, I think you need to really take a look at what you mean when you say passing, if you use the word passing, or if someone else around you says the word passing. I would really question them on it. Well, what do you mean when you say passing? What does that mean? Um, when someone says they are passing as something else, I think number one, I don't really think they realize what they're saying. If I said to you, and let me take they out of it and put myself in it. If I say, I want to know if I'm passing, okay, if I'm passing as a woman, okay, number one, that means that I am saying to myself and to other people, I'm not a woman, but I'm trying to pass as one. Okay. So it's a very defecating? No, depreciation. It's a very negative thing to say you're trying to pass as something because you're admitting that you're not that thing. And if anything I've learned about this process, and again, I have to use myself because I don't want to make an assumption. And please don't take it as me being egotistical, but it is my channel though. But if again, I'm doing this process because I believe in my heart that I am a woman. Okay, I just was born with a penis when I was born. Okay. So anyway, so if I feel that I'm genuinely a woman on the inside and I'm trying to make that genuinely a woman on the outside, and if I say I'm trying to pass as a woman, then I'm admitting that I'm not a woman. I'm something else, and I'm trying to either deceive or it's a deception. I don't want to fake my way into being a woman. I don't want to fake or try to delude others or whatever. So again, I really think once a person dissects the word passing, they won't use it anymore. It's really not a good word to use. Now, in the world of get out of transgender world, I know I started in cross-dressing world, and if you're cross-dressing or you're a transvestite, probably then passing is an appropriate word to use because you're saying to yourself, okay, I'm a man, I'm a cross-dresser who's trying to emulate like a female impersonator. Yeah, in that case, passing does kind of work. But for a trans woman or a trans man, I don't think that is. Now, what I think the root of it is, what is attempting to being said is, am I accepted? Do I fit in? Do I appear like I am part of something? Have I successfully integrated myself into this other, gender that that I feel myself on the inside that I am? I think that's the nuance of it. And it's a lot easier to say, well, am I passing than the explanation here. It's been 8 minutes on the video that I have tried probably not very well to explain. Again, it's a lot easier to say, do I pass? We're not trying to pass. We are to begin with. And so again, I think that that's a bit of a there's something to be done, to be said there. And certainly, I don't know everything. I'm not trying to claim I do. It's just in my own experience. The goal of a trans person is not to pass as the other gender. They are that gender already. They're just some secondary characteristics maybe that they need to alleviate or something to work on, whether it be presentation, how you appear, your dressing style, maybe how you sound. Maybe you start out and you have a deeper voice and your word choice is more stereotypical male and you want to change that to being more stereotypical female. But in the age that we live in, yes, you can alterate your voice, your pitch, your intonation, your breathing, all of that stuff. Yes, you can if you really want to. It's up to you. But that doesn't make you any less or more of the gender that you're trying to be. It might stereotypically, but is that, and again, if that's what you want to be, then I guess that's your choice. But I know for myself and the friendships that um, I've made my friendships with very authentic people. I don't like fake people. I can spot a fake person. And again, if you're trying to emulate something that's not you, and again, if it makes you feel better, all the power to you. But if you and I were to meet and be friends, and I find out that you're not who you are, your authentic self is not who you're trying to emulate, we're probably not going to be friends much longer. Um, you know, and again, it's a free country, and please don't. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just an observation again against the word passing. I fixed the camera here. But this lovely cat who loves to sleep, and I love to sleep too. Um, the other topic was beauty, and they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And if you play Dungeons and Dragons, beholder means something totally different. Beholder has many different eyes, but um, all kidding aside, beauty is definitely something that's defined by an individual. My definition of beauty is going to be different than your definition as to someone else's, and God help us if we make our definition of beauty out of what comes out of Hollywood or New York or fashion places or commercials for makeup or whatever. You ever notice that the women that are in the CoverGirl commercials, they're young and beautiful. They don't need to wear makeup, and they're the ones putting crap on their face. Um, you know, the older women don't seem to go for that. Some of them do, but the idea of beauty in this, unfortunately, this beautiful person, beautiful young trans woman, like I said, she appears in her 20s. Um, you know, she was questioning, well, when do I get beauty? When does that happen? And I guess one thing about this process is we don't necessarily know. If you definitely have taken a look at any of the Transition Tuesday photos, um, you can see guys who very haggard and kind of guys turn out to be blossom into these beautiful, beautiful trans women. We don't know exactly how we're going to end up. I think there is a bit of depression and a bit of what I'll say, a bitter pill to swallow, is when you realize that there are limitations to how much beauty you're going to get, how much transition you're going to get. Um, and the hope is, been on hormones for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. That's as good as it gets. That's as good as it gets. And certainly, some of the women who have posted in the comments on my channel has said, look, a woman's value in this society is when they're younger, not so much when they're older or middle age. And so, you know, this is as good as it gets. And we have to count our blessings, I think, to survive. We count our blessings that we did get to be the women that we, at least for a portion of our lives, as much as we can, um, and to celebrate that. Hey, I got to be, I transitioned in my mid, in my 40s. At least I get to spend my 50s, my 60s, my 70s, my 80s, however long I live, the rest of my life as much as a woman as I can be. I think that's probably the solution. But again, for her, um, you know, I really do feel for someone who tries to define themselves on their beauty, and obviously that's all. You look at television and the things that our society puts forward with young women. Um, it's all, it's kind of beautiful based. I had a moment with my daughter last week. She tried her hair a different way and tried, one of my skirts on, and I just said to her, "Well, you look beautiful. You look pretty. You look beautiful." And there I am doing my gender stereotypes, you know, on her. That's just the way our society, I guess, is. We live, someone in a binary society, and I wouldn't say to her, "You look handsome." You look beautiful. You look pretty. Some food for thought. But um, anyway, back to that idea again for maybe someone a little younger. You know, your beauty is as you define it, and perhaps part of the maturing process, for lack of a better word, is if you haven't come to that conclusion already, is you reach a point where you realize there is a limitation to what I'm going to do. The hormones are only going to do so much, and if you want something past that, then you're looking at surgical procedures, plastic surgery, breast implants, those kinds of things. Physical fitness, exercise and get your body down to a size that you like. And then you're looking at, again, like I said, breasts or plastic surgery or something like that. And, but again, there's a limitation to it, and it's can be a very sobering thing. And they say that the the suicide rate amongst post-ops is like 50%. And I think that's part of that is you realize that having surgery is not as important as you thought it once was, or perhaps you think that life was going to be better after surgery, and it is, but there's still a lot of other negatives that still persist after surgery, or you have other challenges. And so again, I think maybe it's a bit, I'm not going to say Pollyanna, but maybe it's a bit of a misnomer, number one, to think that surgery is going to fix all your problems. Switching back to the other idea again of beauty, um, to think that you're going to transition and you're going to become this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman, and all your problems will be over. Again, that doesn't work that way either. But again, I feel for my friend who um, is beautiful, beautiful woman, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman, but yet she doesn't feel she's beautiful because she doesn't meet the expectations that our society and, like I said, the cosmetic industry puts upon her. I feel for her. I really do. I really do. And I hope that maybe she'll see how beautiful she is. She'll come to that conclusion. Something that my stepfather used to say, um, which struck to me when I was growing up, was the difference between a girl and a woman is that a woman has her own sense of style. A woman is not trying to emulate something else. A woman feels comfortable in her own skin. And if that's the case, then I wish all of us trans women will reach that point. We'll accept the limitations that we have, and we'll count our blessings for where we are. And that's not to say our life is over. It's not to say that we've reached an apex or a climax. We always have the option to do more. For myself, yeah, I don't know if I could shift on my lap here. Where is it? It's over that way. The treadmill. I have a treadmill here. I could be walking. I could be doing 30 minutes of exercise 3 times a week. I don't do it. I could. I probably would lose some weight. You compare my face today from what it was a year ago, or definitely 2 years ago before I had surgery. I look a lot younger. I could do that. you know. Instead, what am I doing? Making YouTube videos holding a cat. It's how I choose to spend my time, and I'm not unhappy. So we'll go from there. All right. Well, if hopefully I've not wasted your time, hopefully things are good for you. I would definitely encourage you to become the best person that you want to be, your authentic self, whether that be only you are going to find out what that is, and however you choose to define yourself. And that's kind of the great thing about this process is we get to choose who we want to be, and hopefully who we want to be is who we are on the inside, and it kind of merge, and you are who you were meant to be. All right. On that note, good luck to you. All right. And till next time. Bye bye.